All right, so now I'm going to have a couple of videos titled What's Happening Here? There's a lot of stuff that Spring Boot is doing for us, and it's all behind the scenes, so it actually is helpful to kind of pause for a bit and see what it's doing, what's going on in the background that causes all this magic to happen. And let's start with this pom.xml. We added a couple of sections to the pom.xml and we looked at it. There was one parent section, which had the artifact Spring Boot Starter Parent. We had a dependencies section where we chose Spring Boot Starter Web. If you have built Spring applications before, you know that you need more than one dependency to get a Spring MVC application running. There are a bunch of dependencies you need to add to your pom.xml. Now we are managing all that with just one dependency, and this is intentional. What Spring Boot has done is it's created a group of dependencies that do work well together, and you don't have to pick and choose what you need. You just pick the Uber group. Okay, so here's how it works. If you just add the parent over here without the dependencies, right? Let me remove this dependencies section. Then I save. There's really no Maven dependencies established. I have not specified that I need a Maven dependency. What the parent is pulling is just the configuration. Okay, this configuration informs Maven what jars to pull when you do specify a dependency. All right, so let's say I put this back and save this. Now Maven downloads the jars, and now you see the Maven dependencies shows up. This dependency section tells Maven what jars to download, and the parent section configures what versions of those jars to download. Let me give you an example. Let's say this is we're using 1.4.2, right? So if you look here, look at the Tomcat jar versions. So there are a bunch of Tomcat versions over here, the Tomcat jars. So there is 8.5.6 version of the Tomcat jars. And if you look at the Spring jars, it's 4.3.4. All right. Now let's say I go and update the version of the Spring Boot Starter Parent to something that's really old. So let's say I make this 1.0 release. So I click save. Now Maven is going to go download the version numbers for this one. Again, the jars would not probably change, but the versions of those jars would change. So if you look here, the Tomcat version has gone back to 7.0.52, and the Spring jars have all gone back to 4.0.3. So I'm going to put this version back so that it gets the newer versions again. But this should give you an idea. This is how Spring Boot makes it easy for you to pick and choose what jars and what versions you need without having to do all that work yourself. Somebody has already done that work for you and provided you with this preset list. This preset list of possible combinations of jars that work well without issues is what's called the bill of materials. That's what Spring calls it as. You know that there are a certain combination of jars and their versions that work well, and it's been approved by Spring Boot. So all you need to do is just pick that version of that list, and you get all the preset values with it. So you don't have to worry about individual version numbers anymore. You just have to worry about the version of the parent, and that itself instructs Spring or Maven about what are the different combinations of versions that do work well.